Hey, today I want to talk to you about Summer Wells. The Summer Wells case is something that's near and dear to my heart, and I believe all of our hearts here on YouTube in the true crime community. With no new updates, it's really hard to just come online and start talking about it, but you want to keep the names and their cases alive and out there. She went missing on June 15th of 2021. No new information, no press conferences from TBI or Hawkins County Sheriffs. We're hearing nothing. It's crickets.
We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not focus all of our efforts on just one of those two.
So they said they're not going to show their hands, the TBI. They're not showing anything. Never mind show their hands. Listen, everybody that knows me knows that all of us former law enforcement, we don't like to give out any extra information. You cannot tip your hand, obviously. But what I'm talking about is you don't have a lot to go on. We lean on the public to help us. They're not even making attempts to even talk about Summer Wells. Period.
When I see the picture of Summer Wells, I see my daughter. And I can tell you that if my daughter was missing, I would sure hope that somebody was looking for her every day. My name is Josh Melton. I'm the Assistant Director of the Criminal Investigation Division for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. We don't have the...
I see the problem with some of these cases is that there's so many people that want to help, but some that don't have the right intentions. I'm trying to be nice with my words here. And the unfortunate part is when people start causing drama and infighting between the actual parents or people who are actually trying to look for these missing young children, it takes a bite from the capacity of a search group, a volunteer search group, who is very respected across the law enforcement board throughout the United States. You can throw out the name EquiSearch, Midwest EquiSearch, Texas EquiSearch, and law enforcement and the partners, TBI, FBI, state, local, and federal authorities will say, yeah, we've had nothing but good experiences with those guys.
Many people have speculated what they think has happened in this case. The difficult part of the speculation is that if we as investigators and focus our efforts in one direction, we're making a huge mistake. We have to make sure that we're being completely comprehensive as we investigate.
But look at what happened to us in Summer Wells' case. Because of all the drama down there, when I called up Tony Allen, he was like, no, we don't need your help anymore. We got this. And the last communication I had with him, he didn't even respond to me. So it's like, you kind of feel like they're getting pressure because of all that jagaloon behavior, as I refer to it, that they just shut it down and they say, you know what, we're going to handle this in-house and we're not letting anybody in from the outside. And that's where who suffers? The actual missing and their family. They suffer at the hands of other people's actions. And that's what it just gets my blood boiling.
Area or technology that could have been used that may give us an investigative lead. All stones are being turned over. We have some of our most talented agents assigned to this case. We have brought in subject matter experts within TBI from across the state to assist in this investigation. We have thrown everything that we know to throw at this case, and we haven't had the answers that we need yet. We'll get them, but we don't have them today.
This is Beach Creek community. This is Candace and Don Wells' home right here in the middle of your screen. Look at the terrain here, guys. This is the house. This is the area, right? This is here's Grandis's, where they were planting the flowers, is right here. But what I really want to show you is all of this thick bush. All of this property has every inch of this in a 5-10 square mile radius. You mean to tell me that you had people in all of this area searching all of this? I don't know. It seems like a huge amount of land and a huge amount of area to cover. This flat open terrain here, this is a gimme. This is an easy search. You got bodies of water where we did see divers in water early on in this thing, right? But why would you say no to extra people? Let me just scale out. So this red dot here is Summer Wells' home, and this is the terrain that you're looking at. I mean, do you guys see this? What this looks like? How difficult and how easy it would be to hide. The search guy, Tim Coop, that was the Hawkins County search and rescue guy who was running the search. Remember what he described to us as Summer Wells being the size of a manila envelope? He's talking about a large size manila envelope. I remember him making that statement. And now you have all of this possibility of area where she could be. And you can't tell me that human boots on the ground covered this 5-10 mile square area. A lot of people are saying a lot of the crimes go unsolved in that area. But if you don't keep at it and you don't try, when you have people are offering you help that are bona fide search groups, and if you don't accept their help.
The search for Summer Wells continues nearly 3 years after her disappearance.
Since June 15th of 2021, no one knows what happened to then 5-year-old Summer Wells.
We continue to focus on ground search efforts. We continue to focus on interviews of those who may have information about vehicles that have traveled through.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says it's received more than 6,500 tips.
The area or technology that could have been used that may give us an investigative lead.
So we don't search any different than we do before. We have a lot of new, we call them toys in our toy box. These days, everybody's wanting to do technology. So most of the time when we get cases, we look it up to see, if we like to put drones out first, because the drones can cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time, and then we can run those images. People think, oh, well, you put drones up in the air and the trees and stuff is so thick, how are you going to see anything through it? It only takes a piece of a clothing maybe this big to pop through those trees for a color that we're looking for. So we put the drones out there, and then even when we put drones out there, unless it's just a wide open field that we can clearly see on the images that there's nothing there, we still put foot searchers in there. We have resources as canines. If we run canines we don't have canines on our team, but we use a resource of canines. If we run canines somewhere, we put foot searchers in behind them. Everything we do, we make sure we double check with every single tool that we have in our toolbox or toy box to make sure that area is 100% clear. The only thing different that we do now from before is it seems like there's so many more missing people these days than it was before.
Even though there haven't been any public developments, Melton says this case is far from cold.
A cold case is typically framed up as a case where there are no tips or leads that are coming in, and there are no investigative efforts that are happening because there is no place to travel with the investigation.
Rumors circulate about what happened to the little girl after she vanished from her home in Hawkins County. Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson didn't return our calls or emails for this story. The Wells family also has their own private investigators. And while law enforcement has no idea where this little girl is 3 years later, they're determined to find out.
It is a monstrous task, but it's one that's not overwhelmed us. Our commitment to the public is that we're not going to allow this case to sit on a shelf. We are committed to bringing Summer home, and we will keep working on this case until she is home.